Mic check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
Mic check. Mic check, waifu. At King Telle, is that you?
At Mr. Polow Born Fly. What's happening, man?
What's up there, boy?
Oh, bro.
How exciting is this, man?
I don't know, man. My mind a little fried.
We're going to get into that. This is episode 50. Big 50 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Go to lubecomplex.com. Use that offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. Thanks for sponsoring us for 50 episodes damn near. I think it was only 2 episodes he didn't sponsor, but it is what it is. 50 episodes. That's incredible. It's also brought to you by our Patreon producers, Monique Williams Connor, and shout out to the homie D Prince. Hey, man, keep that grind going, D Prince. We're going to send you something nice real soon, brother. Congratulations on the weight loss and the vlog that you about to start. It's going to be ill. So everybody keep an eye out for that. As soon as he drop it, y'all gonna know about it. It's dope. It's going to be dope. Man, episode 50 of Mic Check Waifu. We got a special episode for you tonight. Today, we're going to be talking about a few different anime that we watched. And then on the second half of the show, it's going to be full spoilers for one of my favorite shows, Steins and Steins Gate Zero, the entire series. So that's going to be an interesting conversation. I can't wait for that. But first, let's talk about some anime we watched. Tell you want to go first?
All right. So this is the third week in a row of me talking about this, but Haijme No Ippo.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I don't understand how anyone couldn't watch this masterpiece. I want to talk about Isaiah Pika, because every time we recommend something, whether Polow recommended, I recommend it, he always watching something we recommend.
Yeah.
He posted in his Facebook group how they was making a joke in Haijme No Ippo, where instead of calling Ippo his name, just his regular name, they called him Big Dick Ippo.
That's right.
And it was because, dude, they was literally just like doing their thing, and everybody had on like just a towel, and Ippo's towel fell off during training camp. And it was like, so they started calling him Big Dick Ippo. Shit was funny. Like, the show has really nice comedic beats like that, which is actually kind of hilarious.
That's awesome.
But I also wanted to get to like one of the more serious moments, one of my favorite fights in anime in general.
Wow.
There's this big guy, the big guy Takamura, which is the bear. He's the dude in the show that you literally think is invincible from the beginning, versus an English fighter called the Eagle. And it's such a good fight. We never see Takamura take a pounding at all in this entire show. And in this fight, he took a pounding, and we talked about plot armor before, and it felt like one of those moments where our heart was pounding and we thought plot armor wasn't going to make a thing, because this show makes it a reality that, like,
you could lose
just because just because you're the main character, or just because you're the protagonist, or who we're following, who the camera's on, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win.
Right.
And it's just such a great fight. I think that even if you don't watch Haijme No Ippo, watch the movies, because that shit is fire too. Oh my God.
This is 3 weeks straight of Telle talking about Haijme. That's impressive.
I can't do it no more. I gotta just keep hyping it up until it's a thing. Just everybody knows Haijme No Ippo.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. I still gotta find something for you to watch, so when I do watch it, I can make you watch like a slice of life or something.
we in there. Also, Christopher Goodwin, he was talking about what if there was an anime that put you in a video game, and you had to play as these characters to do these different things or whatever, right? Basically talking about Jumanji, but as an anime. And I like literally said it was The Ones Within.
Oh yeah.
And The Ones Within was just so bad.
Okay, it was bad, but it wasn't so bad, you know?
Oh, bro, I don't know, man. Anything like how you had like the biggest anchor to draw people in with, like they had the greatest hook to say, boom, we got you, now reel it in. And then they start reeling it in. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go. You cool, bro. You don't have to watch this.
What episode was that? Was that episode 3? I hate it so very much.
It wasn't episode 3. Yeah. I think that was episode 3. He was like, "Yep, this is the worst episode I think I ever watched."
Yeah,
but I completely stopped after like episode 8. I just had no more interest. It was like they lost me.
Yeah, I finished it and it just wasn't worth finishing, bro. It just wasn't worth it. I think it had the potential. It had the characters. The characters were great, but nothing else was really there.
They didn't have the right direction
at all. This is funny. So our episode of Blaname dropped Friday. Shout out to everybody that listened to that and supported that episode. So much fun. But we talked about a show that I actually threw on a few episodes of. Boy, it's real bad. Because I did it. You remember a long time ago how I said we should watch something bad to try to say something good about it, just as like a one-off thing. I turned on Boruto, because on Blaname I talked about how I watched like 98 episodes of it. I watched about 100 and I got to 102, 103 or something like that. And boy.
So why was it so bad though? Because they ended their filler, right?
The filler, I do believe, was done. They did have a couple of my favorite characters. Not my favorites, because they're definitely not my favorite of Naruto, but Jugo, Suigetsu, and what's her name? Karn.
Yeah. They
were in these episodes because Jugo was in this forest and he was trying to rescue these ducklings that were that had curse marks on them. And what he would do is he would use his curse power to absorb the curse mark from the ducks, because the ducks were like it was a mission that Team 7 and Team 15 had to do together, which is Boruto team and that Salmon girl team with the girl with Nue. They did this task together. They went to this forest. Jugo was absorbing the curse marks of these birds because the birds were like actively attacking anybody that goes into that forest. And every time he would absorb them, his curse mark would go out of control and he would transform into his monster form. And you know, when he get into his monster form, his murderous intent comes out. So he wants to kill everything. So because of that, he was like, he had to get these injections to basically nullify his curse mark. So the problem with this is it's so fucking predictable and it's just not enough fucking fighting. It's not enough fighting. Like, it's just so much like that bullshit. And like, when shit gets real and they do fight, I am going to say this. It was a fight between Konohamaru and Jugo when he was transformed. That shit looked amazing. During the break, I have to show you that fight because that shit looked incredible. Like, I'm like, whoa. If this was all Boruto was, this shit would be great. But it's not, and that's why people hate it so much, because they're trying. I don't know how. I can't explain what it is, what they're doing. They're trying to do the twist and turns thing that Naruto did. You know how certain enemies will be on the good guy's side, but he really turned out to be bad. They're trying to do a lot of that, and it's so fucking predictable. It actually irritates me because they believe I'm stupid, and I don't like to be treated like I'm stupid because I'm not.
What it probably feels like is like, you know, these characters aren't the bad guys anymore, and they keep giving you these characters who are like antagonists, but they're not really antagonizing anything. They just walking around the world doing God knows what. Yeah. So this guy came in. This is how it goes. This guy came in.
He was a bird specialist, which is like an organ chillist or something, organist, whatever they're fucking called, bird specialist, bird watchers. He was a bird watcher. They decided to bring him on a mission because it was birds that were going crazy. So because he's a bird specialist, maybe he can help us figure out why these birds are going crazy. They bring him in, and it was plain as fucking day that he was obviously the villain of this whole fucking thing. 4 episodes later, they reveal it, and it's supposed to be this big shocker. It wasn't, because it was obvious as hell. apparently it's the land of rivers. Their people are investigating curse marks. They're investigating ways to control the curse marks. So they're injecting people with curse marks on purpose and researching it so they can use that power to basically create these super soldier people.
So what Orochimaru had been doing, but
but not legitimately. It's like a more modern day spin to it. You know what I mean? It's there a little bit, but it's just not there all the way, and it pisses me off because what they did with this plot armor, they took away the strongest person there, and it was obviously Konohamaru. Because Konohamaru was giving Jugo like a run for his fucking money. And it was boss ass shit. For the literal 5 minutes that they were fighting, it was incredible. I'm like, man, this shit is dope. They took him out by saying, oh, Jugo sapped his chakra, which is something I never knew Jugo could do. Literally from Naruto Shippuden. Like I never knew Jugo can sap fucking chakra. When he transformed,
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, when he transformed, he only did it once. He only did it to Konohamaru, and when he did it to Konohamaru was laying in the bed like, oh, I can't recover my chakra for 4 or 5 days. So he's out for the count for 4 or 5 days. And this whole time, the young ones, which is Team 7 and Team 15 had to go back to the Hidden Leaf Village to get reinforcements. But of course, they get beat up by some ninjas that was a part of the land of rivers. And it was so fucking predictable. It pissed me off, man. And it wasn't enough fighting. Like, even when Team 15 had to fight these land of rivers, like ninja or whatever, they didn't even show the fight. They just showed them coming back beat up. So it was
like off-screen ass kicking.
It was an off-screen ass kicking, and they were injected with the curse mark. But
so
it blew me, bro.
The best fights I remember from Boruto was obviously Sasuke and Itachi. No, not Sasuke and Naruto throwing hands with Momoshiki.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that was fire, and I even love that they reanimated it. And then it was Boruto versus the water dude with the sword in the Mist Village, I think it is.
Yeah, the whatever they call it, Hokages.
The village hidden in the mist.
Yeah.
Tsuchikage. Mizukage.
Yeah, he's the Mizukage. You're right. Yeah.
That shit, that little fight, even though it didn't feel like it was long, like that twin burst water thing he did where he was like flying through the air or air burst, whatever it was. That shit was hard, but it was like, and that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. They have some really cool moments. Like I loved watching, what's his name? Mitsuki fight with Orochimaru and his older clone brother kind of thing. Yeah. That shit was kind of cool. But I had to stop when it was Shikadai becoming friends with that other really smart dude. You know what I'm talking about? He was becoming friends with some dude, and he bringing people in and betray the village or whatever.
Yep.
That to me, it just started to get boring. Like I like what's her name? Chocho.
Mm-hmm. Choji's and what's her name?
Yeah.
Daughter.
I like Chocho, but the big issue with her was she's a female simp. She over here simping over the acting dude. It was just so many episodes I felt like they could have done better. Metal Lee had a pretty decent episode with like overcoming his ways, but then he just turned right back into
instantly. The dude, like his nervous anxiety.
Who is it that you didn't like? Because I feel like that's Metal Lee. There was somebody in another anime that you didn't like, and I feel like that's exactly Metal Lee. Because like he got the power, he just act like a
pussy. Yeah.
Puss.
Yeah. It's
but yeah.
It's the good thing about it though was the fight between Jugo and Konohamaru. Like when they do have the fights, it's always so fucking quick and then it's over. But when he did, man, he did some shit. He like, because he was using that blade, our guy, what's his name? Akira? The chakra blade, I think his name was. He was using that chakra blade, and he was like, he flicked it up in the air, and he jumped up in air, did this like a spin move kick, and kicked it in Jugo's jaw. And shit was incredible, bro. It was awesome. I'm gonna show you the clip during the break, but the fight was so clean, and then it just went back to bullshit. It's like instant, like you out of 100, and I think they're on like 153. Literally like four fights we can name that were actually decent. The rest are just bullshit filler.
Yeah, they actually gave Sakura a good fight too
Yeah.
against that Sharingan dude.
Yep.
When she was like working him for that short little amount of time, I was like, what? They gave Sakura some time to shine. That shit was
Yeah.
hard. I was like, I take everything back I said mean about Sakura ever. I don't really think I ever said anything mean about her. I'm just saying.
I still didn't pick up One Piece again yet. Still on break right now for me because we had to watch Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero again.
You gotta recover.
Yeah, that's a lot. It was about, what was that, about 50 episodes roughly?
It was what, 25, 23?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, well, 24 because did you skip the OVA? The OVA Zero?
I think I did.
You fucked up. Okay. You just missed. Okay, you fucked up.
Really?
Yeah, you fucked up big time. We're gonna talk about that in the second half, and I'm gonna tell you why. But yeah,
I'll just watch it in our break.
Yeah, okay. I guess you. Well, no, it's too late now. You already finished it.
Okay, well, whatever.
I'll tell you exactly what it is during the break.
All
okay,
right, cool.
So, other than Boruto, we obviously watched Tower of God and Gleipnir. So I think we should get that out of the way now before we go into our break, and then go to Steins, because Steins is gonna take up the whole second half.
For sure.
I must say, Gleipnir I didn't enjoy this week. Tower of God, I enjoyed a whole hell of a lot. Like, again.
This was, to me, after that last episode, I was actually very pleased with this episode of Gleipnir. With the fact alone that it felt like we got some character progression for Elena, and we figure out kind of like it's a fact now that his memory was erased and that he was doing something more. We know that they're heading towards the spaceship. It gave us actual direction instead of just kind of felt like we were like loafing around, just,
I guess that's true,
doing anything. So to me, this felt like an actual, like,
I love the Elena part though. Like, that's the only part that I enjoyed so hardcore. Like the fact that he was like fucking brainwashed, I guess we can call it, whatever the fuck it was. Do you think, I don't know if they kind of said this. It was kind of hard for me to pay attention because this episode was just kind of all over the place. But do you think they collected 100 coins already, or she collected 100 coins already?
Well, I don't think they've collected 100 coins. I think that they know that there's somebody out there who already has, and they're trying to gather up to that point. Like, I don't think the group that she's with is necessarily bad or evil. I think they're like the anti-hero kind of deal. The
vigilante type of deal.
Yeah, where like they just like, we're gonna collect 100 coins so that no one really dies. But that's just it. We want to be like the equalizer kind of deal. I feel like more or less that's what they're going for.
I think man, I think there's so much more that Elena's not letting on. She's the best part about this show, dude.
And they're not even giving us more of her. Really.
I know. She's the best part. I mean, the other chick was pretty cool. The animal chick calling Elena and telling her, and kind of, they did do the little exposition well though, with her getting into Shuichi's memories and remembering that. But why the fuck did she do that?
Well,
she said because it's not she's not a bad person, but
it's because they were able to become one. Like, so yeah. I think what it is, and this is why she said him and Claire will never become one, is because Claire and him don't really have the same goal.
Yeah, true.
So like, she wants something and he wants something, and even though they both essentially want the same thing, they're not really going to ever want the same thing until it's like they're probably on their deathbed and they're like, I just don't want to die, and then they'll agree and then they will fuse like that, which is kind of like how I see their relationship. And Claire's still a user, obviously, and she a little salty that old girl got into her suit, but or took her spot, whatever. But I liked old girl better anyway.
Same.
I would rather have Chihiro inside of Shuichi any day.
Same. Man,
Tower of God, yes.
Full spoilers for Tower of God as well coming up. But I love this episode so much, bro. I love this so much.
So what made this episode Tower of God like specifically like good?
Just, what's his name? Kron? What's his name? Kieran? The blue hair dude, blue turtle. he's fucking insane. With him helping, the ranker get back up to stop the Princess of Jahara, and him playing it off like, oh, it was such, I'm sorry I failed you guys. But he did that for his team specifically to make sure that Bam and well, obviously, Gator, this is what I'm gonna call him too. He obviously already passed, but like, I love that whole sequence of shit and the way it played out and how he did it. It was awesome, man.
Well, and I really liked how these like trials and whatnot that they're going through are never really just like straightforward trials.
Yes.
Like watching this happen, like you would think like, okay, they did a really good job, and everything he did would make you think that that should be successful.
Right.
But what he did was he tricked his original team, and they showed that it wasn't just like, you know, Gator and Bam who were his original team. He had a list of other teammates.
Yep.
And his goal was to get his specific team to win, even though they made it think that his team that was in the test was his actual team. And Bam thought he was rooting for, you know, Kun and saying, I want Kun to win. And everyone in the room is mad, you know, why you want him to win so bad? But that was actually what Bam should have been doing, wanting Kun to win, because that's what the goal is. Even if you're not participating, the team is the goal.
Yes, like the whole fact that it's just not a straightforward challenge. Like, they technically already passed. Him and the sleepy dude, a few of them have already passed this test, so they didn't even really have to go hard at all. And I find that to be so fucking intriguing with the tower as a whole. I am so intrigued with what this place is. And the girl telling the story about how she was a cat burglar, and the ranker was on a ship of the ship that she was trying to rob, and fucking chopped these people up. I want to know more, man. And they're doing such a good job of giving us more.
They give you more, but not enough.
Not enough, no. But it's not like a blue ball tease, you know what I'm saying? It's like
it's letting you know that when you get there, it's gonna be live.
It's special, man. It's special.
I loved that as well, and I love that. I feel as if even though they were fighting specifically against a ranker, they felt like they were overpowered, outsmarted, everything. Like he had them beat in every way. Yeah. But they still had a chance, you know? Yep. It didn't feel like he was outright shitting on them. And they even made a call out to the fact that his Shinzu was limited, whereas normally he would have way more Shinzu to use, way more power to use, that would not be as limited as it would normally be. It wouldn't be as limited as it was in this scenario. So that was really cool that they, even though he was super smart, had all those things on his side, he kind of still had a plan. It was cool. So dope. And he still overpowered them and dogged them.
Straight up. I enjoy Tower of God so much, man. Everything from like, again, we talk about this every week, but the music, man. Oh, the music kills me. It's so good. It's so good, bro.
It is. The beat actually hits
every time. Every time, bro. Every time. Gleipnir music was still pretty good too, as always, and this beautiful ass art style. I like that too.
Yeah, Gleipnir also does. It just looks really good.
I need to watch Sing. What is it called? Sing for Me yesterday or some shit. Sing for Me yesterday. It came out this spring. A lot of people are talking about it being real good. I know Black Anime loves it, so I'm gonna go check that out. But
you know what I gotta watch?
What?
Your Name, after you posted that that meme on the Mic Check Waifu Twitter. I was like, yo. Yeah, that shit. I was like, nah. If this is how Your Name go, I'm about to be dead, because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It's fucking.
So now great. I gotta go in there and be like, is this what Your Name is?
You have to watch Your Name, bro. It's such a great movie. Oh, it's such a great movie. You should watch it with your wife too. I think she'll like it.
If she cry, I'm calling you and we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, she gonna cry. She gonna cry for sure. Yeah, that was great. At the midpoint of every episode of Mic Check Waifu, we give recommendations. Last week, Telle gave a recommendation first, so it's my turn to give a recommendation this week. My recommendation for this week is going to be one of my. This is one that I watched immediately after. No, it came out a little later. Maybe it came out a little later. I'll have to look this up. But Log Horizon. It's an isekai, obviously. It's about a game with a new expansion for the hit MMORPG called Elder Tale. Oh, excuse me. And with this game, you're basically it's the same as SAO. People get stuck into this game. They don't know why. Our main character, though, he's not OP in the sense of powerful. He has the best weapon. He's good with swords and none of that. He is a strategist. He's always been a strategist. In this game, he's been the support character, and that's who your main character is. Your main character is the support player, but he's known to be a great strategist, and he and his guild becomes awesome because of his strategic. It's just, I hate that word. Strategic power, prowess, I should say. He's an awesome character, though. I love this cast of characters. The anime, it's, I don't know. It kind of feels a little more slice of life-y than like a SAO, but it still has some good moments in it. Some great fights, some great oh shit moments. Or this one wouldn't necessarily be an oh shit moment. It'd be a chess moment. A checkmate moment. You know what I mean? Like he's just playing chess while motherfuckers playing checkers. It's that kind of show.
Better.
Yeah. It's that kind of show. So check out Log Horizon. There's 2 seasons of it, and I believe a 3rd season is coming out pretty soon. I'm gonna have to look into that, but I do believe that it is. It's a good show. I enjoy it. And it has one of the smoothest voice actors in the English dub playing the main character and this cat character. That's pretty hilarious. Meow, baby.
And the cat?
It's a cat, yeah. He don't play the cat too, but the cat has a smooth voice. It's clean. It's clean.
All right. I'm recommending an older classic, one of the first anime with these banging transformations that kind of get you hype. Ronin Warriors.
Yeah.
It's an older one, but basically you have the Power Rangers of anime. Each warrior has a suit of armor that they summon that gives them a specific set of powers and skills. They all have their own weapons, transformations that are it's crazy. This is one of the first anime I kind of really got into a long time ago. Like one of my first 5 anime, I think it was.
Wow.
Probably was first 3. It was probably my first one. But the big thing was that Ronin Warriors, my dad used to really watch a lot of kung fu flicks, and this was one that he kind of got me hipped onto. So I would definitely say I'm not gonna say it's top tier, but it's definitely one of those things that you can appreciate the art, you can appreciate the style. And if you like Power Rangers, it's gonna feel cheesy like that. Even the first episode, it starts off with this cheesy Power Rangers monologue.
Yeah.
But it's actually pretty interesting. It's an oldie. Came out in 1988, so it's older than us.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
And it ended in 1989, so
Interesting. Ronin Warriors and Log Horizon. Those are 2 very different anime, which is awesome. Yeah, so we'll be right back with a nice smooth tune that we're going to play for you during the break. And we'll come back with probably one of our greatest reviews, I think, because this one is going to dive deep into the constructs of time, I guess. But yeah, come back for the Steins Gate. If you haven't watched Steins Gate, Steins Gate 0, turn it off and come back when you do. But yeah, we'll be right back.
Come back.
Watch the dust that falls away. Learn the truth from the colors. Like the wind to an open flame. I can understand your fall. With a heart full of love and pain. Pour water for my brothers. Had a dream I was old and lame. Quarantine from the others. I unfold my wings and we make our way to the heavens. When it's lockdown, we'll break these chains. Until then, we'll play the waiting game. The waiting game. No. The waiting
You think we know how this is gonna go, but we have no idea. Welcome back to episode 50 of Mic Check Waifu. This part of the show is where we review Steins Gate, man. This is of course in my top 5. For those of you who don't know how a Mic Check Waifu review works, it goes a little bit like this. There's 5 categories. We rate each individual category with a score using the 20-point scale. So if you don't know what a 20-point scale is, it is 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, all the way up to 10. We take those scores for those category and average them all down to a singular score for each of us. And then we take each of our singular scores and average those together. This is going to be fun. Next week is going to be even more fun because we get to do that with Made in Abyss with our friends at Blanda May. That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be our first collaboration review.
That's going to be incredible. So it's going to be 4 scores combined together along with our separate scores as well. But that's going to be dope. That's going to be dope. You ready for all that math, Telle?
Always.
You always been good at math, not me though. All right.
We got calculators now, bro. It's easy.
That's facts. All right. This is Steins Gate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just talk about general Steins Gate, what we thought above the overarching story, how the story played out, everything like that. And then we'll get into the review a little bit later. So first and foremost, can I start, Telle?
Of course, this is your baby. So treat your baby how you treat your baby.
God, I love this fucking show so much. This just reminded me of why I love it so much. I talked about it on Twitter. The episode 1 of Steins Gate. It's literally the entire show in one episode. And you don't even realize it if you've never seen Steins Gate before. That's holy hell. That's incredible. If you've never seen Steins Gate before and you don't realize what you're watching, going back and watching it from episode 1 has everything that's in the entire season in one episode. And it blows my fucking mind, dude. It just blew my mind. And it's incredible. The characters, I love them all. I love them all so very much. Like, I'm so attached. You know what I'm saying? I got to get me a who do I want back here? I'm gonna find a character to put back here behind me on my desk. I gotta find. I don't know which one I'm gonna do yet, but maybe I don't know. I just love them all so much.
Get you a Ruka.
No, I'm good. Ruka's my dude though. He's my dude for real.
I actually really like him in general.
He was so important too. Like, you don't realize how important he is until later. I even love Kaguri.
Why you say even? Like, Kaguri wasn't like awesome.
She was incredible, dude.
There's only one character in this show in terms of like his main group that I didn't like inconsistently. She had a hard time fitting in for me the entire time because I hated her from the jump.
Ooh.
Moika.
I loved Moika,
I
dude.
hated everything about her, bro. She was
Ugh.
instantly off the bat. I was like, yo, she's shady. You can't trust her. You don't love these girls like that. She
Yeah.
not a real one. And she still wasn't real in the end. In Steins Gate Zero, she wasn't real.
She was very real.
She was not. She was only rolling with them because it was a job, one. And she ain't had no reason to mess with them because FB wasn't saying, hey, go steal the CLN 5100.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she was like low key okay.
I loved her, dude. I loved her so much.
I want to stomp on her big toe. With
She was very, yes, it was very gut punching when you find out who she is and what she's doing and why she's doing it. Like, it's super gut punching because like you could do so much better, Moika. You're so she struggles, bro. She struggles internally. She's battling with demons, man. And you didn't learn that until Steins Gate Zero, but Steins Gate, you fucking hated her guts. And I understand why, because in Steins Gate I did too. Because she was the reason for all this shit, basically.
Yeah. There were a lot of elements of the show that I really enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed the fact that the episode pieced itself together. Kind of like just throwing in those hints you talked about, right? The only thing I didn't like about that is with me throwing on my analytical hat, I felt like it got like predictable. Like
Steins Gate Zero definitely got predictable.
Steins Gate Zero is predictable for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say there were parts about Steins Gate Zero that I enjoyed more. But there were, Steins Gate itself, the original first season, in my opinion, was significantly better than Steins Gate Zero. But Steins Gate Zero started off better. Like, Steins Gate Zero to me took off at 100 miles per hour. Just felt better to me. Versus Steins Gate, to me, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then episode 2, I was like, oh, okay, this is still interesting. And then episode 5, I was like, all right, this is interesting. And then episode 8, I was like, oh, okay, so there's the problem. That's where things are happening. And I'm kind of like, oh, that's some craziness that we need to really pay attention to.
Yes.
But yeah, Steins Gate, that first season, to me, I felt like the buildup was much more worth it. Like, Steins Gate, much worth it. Steins Gate Zero, I was like, we've seen a lot of this like 10 times already. Like, I feel like I've already seen this. Just now you changing like this one part, and then you go back. But that's the one thing that I thought was really cool, was that like they introduced the factor that no matter what you do, like relative to the situation you're in, some things are overwhelmingly hard to change, right? Like, you have a scenario that could be like in your life, right? That is impossible to change because you keep coming at it the same way. Every time you come at it, it's going to keep knocking you down because you're coming at it the same exact way.
So you do understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you come at it from a different angle. You might be like, oh, well, maybe I should have approached this differently the entire time. Or there's another answer. There's always an answer.
The importance of the convergent is the biggest factor in Steins Gate Zero. The Steins Gate Zero, okay, what Steins Gate Zero is, it's basically PTSD in a TV show, okay? Think about the bullshit he went through in Steins Gate, okay? Think about what happened in the last episode of Steins Gate. Think about what happened in Steins Gate Zero. He couldn't save her. He couldn't save her. No matter how many times he did this. He's done this thousands of times in Steins Gate. Thousands of times. Think about that. Mayuri died thousands of times, bro.
Bro, he had to go back. He had to time travel back 3,000 times just to get back to the like state he was supposed to be in. To me, so like that was the more part that made me feel like I felt bad for the character.
If it's so heavy, bro.
I felt bad for the character in that scenario. Like, I can't believe. Like, it makes sense though. Like, it's reasonable. It's not something that you can argue with because it makes sense. They did a lot of logic in this show.
Yes.
Like, to me, in this show, like, there are a lot of shows where there are like plot holes. I don't feel like there's any plot holes in this show.
There are none,
like,
bro.
You can't. This show is airtight when it comes to like they sat down with some theoretical physicists and was like,
they had to.
So like, how do we make this show work? And they were like, okay, well, first of all, you have to have a time leap machine. But before you have a time leap machine, you have to have a way of sending information back without actually sending the entire brain. Like, they sat down with some guys or some scientists in general and just had this shit. They figured this shit out.
Their storyboard looked like this: first episode and then last episode. And then let's fill everything in from the first episode to the last episode backwards. That's exactly how it felt like when you're watching it forward. It felt like they had to re-engineer everything backwards. And it's so fucking good. Like, those repeatable parts that you're talking about, I understand completely exactly what you're saying because we've seen this already. But we did not see it like this because of, again, if you go back to Steins Gate Zero, which is the OVA, it tells you exactly why you're going through this particular, line now. And it's so important. Like, this so important because all Steins Gate Zero is literally up until like the 14-minute mark of the last episode of season 1. And then from the 14-minute mark, it's completely different, like, of what happened. So instead of Mayuri obviously slapping Okabe for him to get back into the time machine and them doing their plan to then reach they had to do the arc light plan instead, which means that she couldn't stop him. Or she couldn't make him go. She had to stop him just so he can experience Steins Gate Zero. Now that he experienced Steins Gate Zero, now he can actually reach the Steins Gate. Yeah. So it's so fucking crazy how all of this goes about in this fucking storytelling. I can't.
I do have one specific thing. Well, two specific things, kind of. I love Kurisu Makise.
I love her so much.
She was my favorite in the show, and I was just like, "Yo, bitch."
I even like her. Yeah.
Why you do me like that? And then they gave us Amadeus, and I was like, "Nah, man, I don't want Amadeus. Yeah. I want Kurisu. I don't want no Amadeus."
I even enjoy Amadeus for Okabe's development. Like, it's, oh my god, bro. You want to talk about character development, man?
Here's the thing. Okabe's development, in my opinion, is the worst development ever.
You're wrong.
Bro.
You're wrong.
He got shit on the entire show, bro. And I don't mean worst as in like it's actually bad.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Come on, bro. Oh. I don't mean worst as in actually bad. I mean development as in like he got dragged, bro. Yes. The entire show.
He tries so hard to remain Haijme No Ippo. He tried so hard, and it just.
What could you do though? Yeah. Like if you try and think about it, like watching the person you love die.
Oh
like, look, Polow. You watch your best friend die 1,000 times, and you keep going back each time to save your best friend 1,000 times, and then you finally figure out, oh, I can save my best friend by doing this. This is the method to save my best friend. And you finally get down to that method, and you're like, oh shit.
Now I gotta lose the love of my life.
I gotta lose the love of my life to save my best friend. And then you go and try and save the love of your life while keeping your best friend alive. You watch her die 10,000 fucking. Nah, bro. He got dragged. It was hurtful.
Yeah, no.
It was disrespectful.
It was
Mr.
mean.
Or Mrs. Writer of the show, don't do that ever again. Give me a Steins Gate 1.
Yeah.
And I need Makise Kurisu to come back alive. Like go back in time, bring her back. Mm-hmm. And we need, let's just do that. Let's be happy.
I just love this so much, dude. Like, you can watch Steins Gate and you could be satisfied with the end, and the end can be it, because the end is the exact same end as season 2, but it's not, because season 2 had to happen in order for them to actually reach the actual Steins Gate, because at the end of season 1, he was going to lose one of them again. Oh, it's, man.
And I will say though, they don't necessarily give you like a definitive ending.
They beat, but
they like say this is what's going, like they give you the idea like this is what's going to happen, but they don't tell you, like, because literally And here's the thing that I do love about the show 100 fucking percent is that anything could fucking happen. Like literally they could say this is the logical explanation. This could make sense, but then they can get into it. And there's a whole nother, we don't know if there's just an alpha and a beta line. We don't know if there's an alpha, beta, kappa line. Yep. We don't know what the limitation to this is. Like they were saying, this is stepping into the realm of divinity when it comes to messing with time, right? Mm-hmm. So like, how do we know what the guidelines, where the realms are? Where does science say, okay, we can't actually exceed this any longer? Where do we stop? And that was like one of the things that in my mind, I was like, I love this. Like I was talking about string theory. In my mind, I love the whole idea of multiple universes, multiple timelines, that kind of thing. The fact that there are small things like me right now pointing my hand like this, there's another Montel, another dimension who's doing this at the same time instead of doing this. And that could change the entire world. And this show gives you, it plays off of that if you really enjoy that kind of philosophy.
It's the best time travel explanation of anything. Show, movie, cartoon. It's anything that has to do with time travel. This does it the best. And my favorite movie of all time is Interstellar.
And I watched that because of you.
And I still think Steins does the time explanation way better. Like it's so much better.
There was plenty of time for development of the theory.
Yes, I guess that's true.
There was plenty of time for that.
That's
so like they had time to develop it and talk about it and then go from it from a like, well, this is the psychological standpoint. This is the physical, like the physics of it. This is the actual theory and application. You know, they had a lot to work with. And I feel like that's why the time travel felt so fluid and made so much sense, is that it didn't feel out of place at all. Like there's a lot of times where you time travel and you're like, okay, well, this is almost like plot armor to time travel.
Yeah. You want to know,
didn't have that.
My favorite part about this is about this whole rewatch in general is watching it and then looking at the comments on Funimation. Cause I watched it on Funimation. Looking at the comments on Funimation is hilarious to me from episode 1, 2, because everybody's saying, what is this show? This show's boring. This show's stupid. This show's dumb. And then as it progresses, wait, this show's really good. Hold on, this show's great. Hold on, this show's just pure greatness as the episodes continue because it's intentionally paced extremely slow at the beginning.
You have the flies dropping out. That's what it is.
Yeah. You don't understand. Like nobody's watching this knew about the fact that the episode 1 is basically the end of the entire series. Like that's the entire series. You don't know that, but watching it, you're like, okay, I kind of get it. Okay, it's cool. They're explaining there. It's fucking word. This is another exposition vomit though. It's a lot of words, dude. I think this is impossible to watch sub. Not because you're not a great reader or anything like that, but there's just a lot of shit that you have to pay attention to.
So like in terms of like how much they talk though, like I don't think they wasted any words.
No,
like
dude.
The only moments that were wasted that felt like words that weren't necessarily necessary were like sometimes those like 30-second side clips when they were doing something different. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't like really wasted. That was just showing like they do regular stuff in their free time still, even though they got this whole arcing world around them that's wrong.
Even that free time stuff was important because they were always talking about something important. Like
like that's what I mean. Like 30 seconds of them was doing something like, I don't know, we're preparing for this festival. And then 30 seconds after that, it was like involved with some character.
Yes.
Like we knew the American dude was the bad guy. As soon as we saw him, he's like, okay, he's the next bad guy for Steins.
You remember when you tweeted, is there an antagonist in Steins Gate? Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, not Steins Gate 0, blah, yeah, but it is.
Yeah. Like as soon as you see him, you're like, he's the bad guy. And then as soon as I saw like his teacher, I'm like, she's gonna be the next one to run up and they spot or something like that. I was like, those were the moments that were predictable, but like they kind of paid off. Like I enjoyed the American dude getting tricked and like.
But did you enjoy him as the bad guy? His reasonings for being the bad guy? Wasn't that shit dope too? How he says, okay, I'm here from my future self because literally, what's her name? Kirisu, Kagi,
Magase or Kirisu.
No, not
Makisa Kirisu.
No, not Kirisu. The one that the girl that looked like her. The girl that looked like her. The girl that looked just like
Kaguri.
Kaguri, yes. When Kaguri told him that, told his like future self what happened, and then his future self told his past self, like that whole thing fucking blew my mind when I very first watched it. I'm like, are you kidding me? All because she wanted to stay with her mommy to stop Suzuha from changing the timeline. That's the only reason why he came about, is because she didn't want Suzuha changing the timeline. She wanted to be with her mommy. Like, that's fucking wild, bro.
Now, the only thing I feel like that was left open that I wanted information on was Kaguri's like true parents.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, and I could just be wrong, but because she looked so much like Kurisu, I was like, that's got to be like Kurisu's kid. They obviously didn't say that.
So what I'm thinking happened is the timeline that happened. This is just pure speculation. This is what I got in my head. This is exactly what I got in my head. You know the timeline at the end of season 1, right? At the end of season 1, they survive, quote unquote. But then the war happens. Kurisu dies in the war. And then you remember when Okabe had to go back in time a bunch of times because he died too. You know, what was it?
2025. He didn't actually die. He was mentally dead, you know.
Exactly. He was mentally dead. So he died too. So when they say her parents has died and Mayuri adopted her, she's adopted from the war, I think that's how that happened. It's pure speculation. None of that is even explained ever. Yeah. But that's what I feel like happened. I feel like Kurisu was the mom, and then like when she got thrown back in time with Suzuha, all of that fucking fucked up the line too. So she's just here now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like how she was.
And that's then. Also another thing I'm thinking about, right? Is like they were talking so much about how to not create these paradoxes. Yeah. But there had to be a paradox created when Suzuha met her dad, right? Because that's what they were trying to avoid, was letting these paradoxes be created.
The paradox thing was a little loose, I guess, in this one.
I mean, I do think though, like there's the reason for it is that like the paradox had to be created for her to meet her dad because the time machine had to be made.
Yeah.
So that was the paradox in itself, is that he had to see the time machine, study it, and then make it. So it has to be a paradox. It's inherent. It has to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that's how any of those kind of things would happen. Like if that happened in real life, there's somebody who's time traveling, they invent the time traveling machine, they travel back in time and show someone else how to make it. You know, it's like it's a paradox. But that was like, to me, it still made sense, but it's still like it created a paradox, and they should have just said, we're already in a paradox. We don't need to create any more. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I'm low key. I'm ready to rate it.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it. All right. What are the 5 categories that we're rating for everybody?
The 5 categories that we use over here at Mic Check Waifu to rate your favorite anime starts off with P for pacing. We have S for story, A for animation, SD for sound design, and C for characters. Polow, do you want to start?
I'll let you go first since I was able to express myself at the start.
So my rating for the pacing was a 7. Was not my favorite paced anime.
Intentionally.
I think that Steins Gate Zero was paced better, but Steins Gate was a climactic pace. But once it picked up, it was fire, so it gets a 7.
Man, this is gonna be so lopsided because this pacing for me was a 9. And only because, again, it's going to come a little bit later when we get to that. But I think it was paced so fucking well in the simple fact of where stuff was placed. Okay, right? Like when stuff happened, why it happened, and how it happened. Like the way they explained the whole D-Mail thing and how they gradually built up to that, how the banana changes play. Like it all was paced in the perfect positions to build the character development, the world, and the explanation of time.
The processes.
Yes. I think it did it well.
That makes great sense, actually.
Yeah. So now for me.
So you got a 9. And then story. What do you rate the story, bro?
10. We ain't gotta go there. obviously for reasons I've already said, the story is a fucking 10, man. It's so well done. Like I said, I never seen anything explain time travel as well as Steins Gate do. And I feel like between its characters, between the placing of everything, I feel like it's perfect if you pay attention. You got to pay attention.
Yeah. I gave the story a 9. I think the story itself, like how everything unfolds and like is one of the best stories I think I've ever watched.
Yeah.
The only reason it's not getting a perfect 10 is because there feels like there could still be more.
Yeah, there could be another Steins Gate for sure.
There could be, definitely. But like I still feel like where they left it off, like with just the first season, perfectly fine with leaving off there. Just second season, perfectly fine with leaving off there. Even if you, almost like if you started off with the second season, that could have been its own anime itself as well. The story itself is great and amazing. I'm giving it a 9. It's just I feel like there could be a definitive ending instead of something more like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, they did leave us on a cliffhanger. That's a good point.
Yeah. Animation. The animation was okay. Wasn't the best animation. I gave the animation a 7.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. What I liked about the animation though is I love the ambiance. The ambiance of the show was great. How dark it was, how the city looked, how everything around him looked. You know what I'm saying? From when he changed different timelines, how that looked. Like when he was in the timeline where Ruka was a girl, it felt, I guess you could say more. No, that was when Akihabara changed from its Moe culture. That is when it changed to that culture. Like when it changed to like the more business side of things, and it was like a yellow tinge to it. I love that shit. Yeah, I love that shit a lot. Like the ambiance of this show is phenomenal. So I'm gonna go with a 7.5 because it wasn't like anything special. It wasn't. It was just kind of like average.
To go with that though, I love how they framed everything. Though.
Yes.
Like to go alongside the animation, like we talk about like how like certain characters turn the corner and you would see that character turn the corner a certain way, or like when the American dude was walking in the background, like you could see them walking off and like it wasn't necessarily directly on them, but there was a certain fuzziness that made them kind of like stand out a little bit.
Oh, and when Okabe had his PTSD moments too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was a lot of really good framing that they did. It just wasn't anything necessarily amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, sound design, Polow.
It wasn't. I don't remember a lot of the sound design, but hear me out, okay? I was not gonna do this. Did I tweet about this? I think I tweeted about this. I did not want to do this, but I have to do this. I have to do this. This is the first time in a Mic Check Waifu review skill that I'm actually incorporating dubbed voice into sound design. Because the music was fine. The music was it was orchestrated in a way that it sounded like time. But I'm adding the dub voice actors and their acting ability into this review, and I'm giving the sound design a 9.
What? A 9?
A 9, yeah. Right. I have to. Their acting was fucking spectacular. The dude that played Okabe, oh my God. I felt his pain. Like I felt his fucking pain. I felt it so much. I love Daru. Daru was dope. The way he talked to me. I even loved Mayuri voice, even though I know you hated it. She was.
I hated Mayuri voice. Yes, I think if there was no voice acting in this show, the sound design would be a 9. Like no voice acting whatsoever. The sound design to me in this show, there was just like they paid attention to everything.
Yes,
there was no ball dropped anywhere on the sound design. The only thing that could have made it better is they could have done a little bit more in terms of like making it intense in some scenarios. But literally, I felt like the sound design was almost perfect. So I gave the sound design a 9.
Yeah. I just love this voice actor, man.
That's not including voice actors at all. Like that's not even, I don't care if it was in sub or dub. The sound itself was great.
I know.
A 9. I feel like you was trying to, I think you could have given that a higher rating than I did. Honestly,
I could have.
You could have done better. I'm disappointed in you.
That dub was great.
All right,
Blew me
characters.
away.
Characters are for me. I don't like Moeka.
I love that.
In Steins Gate 0 or Steins Gate, it don't matter what Steins Gate she is. She's evil, and I hate her soul.
She's not evil.
I like Braun more.
Braun was dope.
Moeka, I do like. I like that she actually had a reason for being the way she was. I just don't like what she did. It felt deceitful. That was his ex-girlfriend.
Very deceitful.
That was his ex-girlfriend. She could act like a better ex-girlfriend. She acted bitter. I ain't like it. The characters get a 9 for me. I love the characters.
Yeah, the characters were absolutely incredible. I'm trying to find what I didn't like about the characters.
Nothing.
9.5.
9.5.
The only reason why they're not getting a 10. Why are they not getting a 10?
They're getting a 10. Just give them a 10 if you don't know why they're not getting a 10.
I'm giving them a 10. They don't have a reason to even.
I can't think why they not getting a 10.
I can't think of one. They're getting a fucking 10. Like, these characters, I'm so attached to everybody. Moeka, I know you hate her. I loved her. Once I figured out I love the way they did the backstory. The backstory was he had to erase the D-mail, so he had to go back and then learn so much about these characters that you would have had no idea about in a regular show. That shit was special, man. This storytelling is so special. I wish I can give the story an 11, but I can't. It's so good. Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
Oh shit, that's it. Well, that has been the review of Steins Gate. We about to average out our scores. I tried, y'all. I tried to be so objective, but I just love it so much. I love everything about this fucking show. I do, and I can't take it away. I can't change it. I don't want to change it. I'm not mad at it. This is another one of those shows why I am so flabbergasted by shows who can't do story well. That's why I like shows like Fire Force, who drops little story beats in there. I'm so sorry, Telle. This is.
No, I'm looking at something. I'm looking at everything we've rated before, and I'm looking at this rating. I kind of feel like something wrong.
Something wrong. Okay.
So, Mr. King Taliano, I gave our wonderful show Steins Gate an 8.2 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Polow gave the wonderful show Steins Gate a 9.1 out of 10, which averages out between us at an 8.65.
8.65.
Yeah, which means that B-Stars is better. And I kind of don't agree with that. Like I did personally.
You were low. You were low on a lot.
I was only low on 2 things. Everything else is a 9.
What was the score?
8.65. Like, I enjoy B-Stars more, but I feel like in terms of like an overall show, B-Stars wasn't better than this.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
Well,
so here's the ratings of everything we rated so far, starting from the bottom. Bottom, Hall of Shame, Demon Lord retry. We watched it for pure punishment, negative 7.5.
Punishment.
Number 14, Dr. Stone, 7.78 or 7.8. My Hero Season 4, 7.9. Chivalry of a Failed Knight, 7.95. I'm so sorry, Telle.
It is.
Darwin's Game, 8.5. Steins Gate, 8.65. Erased, 8.75. I even think Steins Gate is better than Erased, even though I love Erased. B-Stars, 8.85. Demon Slayer, 8.8. Man, this is a lot. Vinland Saga, 9.5. Grimguard, 9.3. Promised Neverland, 9.3. Fire Force, 9.35. Clannad, 9.8. Astro Lost in Space, 10. At number 1.
Astro Lost in Space does deserve that.
Yeah, it does. Damn. So Steins Gate is an 8.65. I kind of thought it would be lower. I thought you were going to go lower.
Why would you think I'd go lower?
I don't know. I just feel like this wasn't your jam, but apparently it was.
There was a lot of things I actually didn't like about it, but they were never like things that I feel like took away from the stats. It was more like personal gripes, not like things that I feel like made the show itself bad.
Indulge me. What was the personal gripes?
So like I said, I didn't like. I hated the fact that there were so many things that felt like they were repeated, even if like certain things changed. Right? They didn't make me feel like the Divergent was important enough. Right? Like they implemented the Divergent like clock thing, the number, but didn't really like they gave us one episode with really giving us information about that number, but never showing like specific.
Because they did.
Never showing specific stuff about like it like they show us the Divergent when the Divergent actually happened, right? They show us a little Divergent time clock thing.
They showed us more. They showed it at the very end of every episode.
Yeah, but it was never like, I don't know, bro. I just felt like it was that stuff I didn't like. I'm not trying to be picky, but I just didn't.
So that Divergent clock, after they introduced it, at the end of every episode, they showed the number change and how close it was to getting to that 1 mark, or how close it wasn't to getting to the 1 mark in some instances. Like they showed it. Yeah. They wanted you to see it, but they did it after the credits, which was.
Yeah. Which I've seen it. I mean, because I would watch just to make sure I was on par with the credits that were coming up.
Yeah.
But like I felt like the moments that happened when they were big, they were clearly big moments, but there were so many like small moments, which, like I said, my goal was to pay attention to all the small moments.
Yeah.
But there were so many small moments that felt like they paid attention to a lot of the minor details, but there were so many large details that they could have focused on a little bit more. But it really wasn't like I said, I didn't have too many issues with it, but there was just stuff I was just like, okay, this is bothering me. And that was just
That's interesting. Because
like I still think it's a great anime.
Yeah, of course.
It's not going in my top 10.
Those small moments are the big moments, and that's what makes it so fucking great. The small moments are the big moments, and you can't go around the fact that every time something was repeated, it was for a particular reason. I guess the main thing you were talking about, or you could be thinking about, is Mayuri. Oh, I just wound you. That part, that was important, though.
No, that didn't bother me because it kept happening throughout the show, though. Like it should let us know when either Mayuri is about to die or something important happened. Like they did a trick out on us. They tricked us. Like at that end when her watch stopped. And we were thinking like, oh shit, Mayuri's about to die. And then they came out and was like, oh no, we're just about to blow up the time machine. And Mayuri didn't die when they came out there initially until like 5 minutes later she gets into the time machine and she finally gets blown up. We don't actually know if she dies or not. We just don't know what happened. We just see pieces of the time machine, but not if the whole time machine is gone. So like I paid attention to the details. It was just like there was stuff that they didn't like I didn't mind that part. The clock stopping part, I thought that was cool because it was like the clock on her life stopped. There was a reason for that. I liked that. It was just more or less like,
and that watch was her grandmother's too.
Yeah,
in case you didn't know that.
But
which made it sad.
You know, her the one scene we got where she went to her grandmother's grave and she did her little ritual.
So sad.
What also like I thought was stupid. Like why introduce his mom for 10 seconds?
For the song.
Yeah,
that's why I came up with that theory about who what's her name again?
Kagura.
Kaguri. That's why I came up with that theory of Kaguri being their daughter. Like that, I think it wasn't a lot. That song is so important because our Okabe used to sing it. His mom picked it up.
And where he got it from, Okabe got it from her. So it's a loop, and that's one of those paradoxes where like he had to get. I
it's
get
so
that.
important.
I'm saying though, like they introduced the mom though, like they could have gave us more. Like they could have shown us the mom like 3 times. Like I believe in the rule of threes, right? If you're gonna show us something, at least show it 3 times.
They don't need to. They didn't need to. Because it what was her purpose? What would have been her purpose? She's all the way on the other side of Japan, for one.
Well, no,
Okay.
I'm not saying like that's a bad thing. I'm saying that
Yeah.
like in the first episode, they could have like just had her singing, cooking for, you know, Okibe, and then like he travels back to his part town he lives in like the first episode. And then like episode 7, she could have been singing that same song, just saying, "Oh, Okibe, I just want to call to check in on you." Just singing that song, just like a hint, like this is the song she's singing. And then in, you know, Steins Gate 0, they're like, "Where'd you hear that song from? Where did that song come from?" He's like, "Oh, I get it. I got it from mom." And that way, it's been in our head. We've heard it before, especially for people like me who just had to binge 50 episodes, basically. Like that song would have still been in my head. Like that's what the kind of thing. That's the only thing they could have done that like would have made that kind of implementation been better. Like they could have done that. That's not something hard they couldn't have done.
No, I think the whole point of that was for them to figure out that Okabe was the one singing that song.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think that whole point was, because
and Okabe never remembered because it's a different timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how we also know that Kaguri is coming from a different timeline entirely because
exactly, and that's how I got my theory, bro. That's why I love it so fucking. There's one time in this entire show where I was like, okay, that shit don't make no sense. Okay, and it was at the end when they were on top of the building the very first time Mayuri and what's her name was going to the time machine. The very first time. How the fuck did all those troops get on the building? Because the helicopter wasn't there. The helicopters wasn't there yet. They didn't come down from the helicopters. They just kind of popped up on a building and they were surrounded. The very first time, yeah. Like
that's the part that ain't making no sense to you?
That's the part that ain't make no fucking sense.
The part that didn't make no sense to me was, what's her name? Nay, the American dude's like assistant. Like, she was the part that didn't make no sense to me when she popped up on the building. I was like, so first of all, where did you come from?
She was always there.
That wasn't Nay. That was somebody else. She was always there, but the first time like that person popped up on the building. So first of all, I had already assumed that when they popped up on the building that it was, or not, when they broke into the house in Steins Gate 0, that it wasn't Moeka, because it was obviously not her.
Yeah.
Right. To me, it was obvious that wasn't her. It had to be somebody else. But to me, it seemed like it was the American principal, American teacher dude's assistant who broke in. And that's why, like, when she came in the building, I was like, obviously that's her. Now, the twist that I didn't predict that caught me off guard, like, I knew she was being brainwashed, but I didn't know that Kagura was going to be on the building, you know, with the strap and the ninja stars and shit, going shing, 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 shing. That was cool. I really liked that. I liked that she was, like, actually, like, some kind of sleeper agent kind of or kind of person. I thought that was cool. I thought that was better than them just making it only the assistant lady, because if it was just only the assistant lady, that was just like, that's stupid. Like, I need a whole squad of ninja chicks. I don't need just one.
Yeah, true that. Like, the show was great. All right, let's wrap this up with a recap. I can go on all fucking day about this goddamn show.
So today we reviewed one of Polow's top 5 anime, Steins Gate, and we gave it the Mic Check Waifu 8.65, with me giving it an 8.2 and Polow giving it a 9.1. We know that's your baby. Yeah. Before that, though, we were on a break. Our break consisted of, you know, some mellow tunes and something to chill with. Polow gave us Log Horizon as a recommendation, and I gave Ronin Warriors, an older classic. We also talked about Tower of God, how this show continues to intrigue us and get us.
Oh, so impressive.
It's not quite like Gleipnir, where sometimes Gleipnir is just hit or miss, which we did talk about today. How there was some interesting stuff in Gleipnir, but it just was consistently overwhelming in some scenarios. And then Polow was talking about he picked up a couple of episodes of Boruto, and it's just not hitting. It's not good.
It's not good.
But you know, they got some good fights in there. And then we also talked about how Christopher Goodwin talking about Jumanji, and they should make an anime about Jumanji when we already have the ones within that we didn't like. Why do we need to make another one, bro? Chris Goodwin, why we don't need another bad one? I hope they make a good one though, bro.
Yeah.
And then Haijme No Ippo, I talked about for the 3rd week in a row. Hopefully we can get Polow to pick us up. Somebody tweet Polow anime I should watch so that we can watch. so we can get him to watch Haijme No Ippo. But that's been episode 50 of Mic Check Waifu.
Man, as always, I'm at Polow Born Flying on social media.
And I am at King Telliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mic Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mic Check. Mic Check 1 2 1 2.
My sweet waifu.
Is that you?
One